Character name, Ray, Matoran and Toa of Peace. Originally debuted June 2015. Overall look and changes. Ray is designed to look unique as a Matoran, and her Toa build manages to make her look elegant and novice at the same time. I came up with the concept for the Matoran of Peace long before she was released. If you were to look through my past posts on social media, you might find a few work-in-progress versions of Ray as a Matoran. She only recently made her full debut in the Order of Motunui Files series. Since then, she has received a few improvements, such as Character Bio. Titles and Occupations. Ray is a Matoran/Toa of Peace. Obviously, peace is not an element or even a power that is well known among the Matoran species. In fact, Ray is the only living Matoran with this power, dubbed Peace by the hand of Artaka when they discovered the first Matoran of Peace. Only 4 Matoran of Peace have ever been found, and only 1 Matoran/Toa of Peace has ever been active at one time. After Nomi's death during the tragic incident that caused a dimensional relocation of Luna Magna, the hand of Artaka found another Matoran of Peace, Haku, and transformed him into a Toa as well, hoping to train him as their greatest weapon. However, Haku died in a battle not too long after. This process repeated itself with Ko, the third Matoran of Peace, who died when the hand of Artaka collapsed. Later, Ray was discovered by the Order of Motunui shortly after the organization was founded. The Order decided, due to the Matoran of Peace's bloody history, that they'd keep the current Matoran of Peace safe on Daxia without transforming her into a Toa, to keep her from falling into the wrong hands. Eventually, an incident occurred on Daxia that resulted in Ray being turned into a Toa. Strangely, no records of any Matoran of Peace ever existed before each of their discoveries, and each Matoran remembers living out their lives long before being discovered. Even stranger still, the Matoran are only ever discovered after the previous Toa of Peace's demise. The Order suspects greater forces are at play here. Personality. As a Matoran, Ray had a lazy, mischievous personality. She spent her time at the Order's headquarters constantly pulling pranks on her bodyguards and other Order members, and she disobeyed Helrix's orders to cooperate repeatedly. However, she did not disrespect Helrix. She just wanted to have more fun while essentially trapped in the Order's headquarters. After becoming a Toa, Ray had a major attitude shift. She realized the extent of her power, and as a result, began having an intense urge to help with the Order's problems. Helrix, however, would not allow it, giving Ray thoughts of starting her own organization, solely dedicated to helping others. Abilities and Powers. The hand of Artaka dubbed Nomi's abilities the Element of Peace, but a better description of the power would be Barrier Manipulation. The name Peace stuck, however. The full extent of a Toa of Peace's powers has never been defined, but studies done on past Toa of Peace discovered that they have control over anything that can be technically classified as a barrier, including energy barriers, physical and metaphysical barriers, spiritual, magical, and imaginary barriers, and quantum barriers. This gives a skilled Toa of Peace the aptitude to accomplish pretty much any goal or defeat any foe. Important possessions. Ray wears a Kanohi Hau, the Great Mask of Shielding, and has no other permanent possessions. In her Toa form, she can create weapons out of thin air with her barrier abilities. The type of weapons she prefers are a simple sword and shield, though she has been known to throw sharpened spikes of barrier energy at her foes. MOC Analysis. Inspiration and Theme. Ray is heavily inspired by the main character of the Touhou Project series, Reimu Hakurei. Her design and abilities borrow heavily from those of Reimu's, and fan interpretations of Reimu's personality are echoed in Ray's own personality. Ray also shares Reimu's original theme, Eternal Shrine Maiden. Ray's theme is a remix of this song from the Touhou fan game Concealed the Conclusion, published by Danmaq. MOC Features. Rei has connection points in her hands that allow her to hold her sword and shield. The shield attaches to the back of her hand, a first for one of my MOCs. Rei's hair design also hangs loosely enough to move out of the way when her head is turning, avoiding potential hindrance of head articulation. Matoran Rei stands 6 inches tall and 3 inches wide. Toa Rei stands 8.5 inches tall and roughly 4 inches wide. MOC Articulation. Overall, Matoran Rei has 14 points of articulation. She has full ankle and knee articulation, slightly hindered hip articulation, double-jointed shoulder articulation, full wrist mobility, and full head articulation with hair that hangs loosely enough to move out of the way. Toa Rei has 23 points of articulation. She has ankle articulation slightly hindered in the back, a greater than 90-degree knee bend, full hip articulation, a slight flex in the torso, shoulder articulation badly hindered in the front and back, full swivel and 90-degree bend in the elbows, slightly obstructed wrist mobility, full finger articulation, and full head articulation with hair that hangs loosely enough to move out of the way. Interesting building techniques. Rei uses a modified 1x2 plate in her torso construction to help attach her back armor, as the molding for the Hero Factory shield blocks a full parts use. Notable flaws. Matoran Rei's entire leg construction is held on by a single too-long axle, causing the connection to be a little loose. Toa Rei's elbow joints were too weak to hold up her massive custom lower arms, especially after replacing them with new red versions. I had to use a bit of Sharpie on the sides of the joint to add more friction. Her shoulder construction is also severely limited due to the way the hand connectors face, keeping her from being able to move her arms straight out in front of her body. Fun facts. Rei is one of the 2 characters I have both a Matoran and Toa form built of. The other is Noxus, my self-MOC. Her torso construction is also heavily based on Kenpaku's. Overall thoughts and criticisms. Overall, Rei is one of my best MOCs and favorite characters. She becomes the catalyst for a major story arc in Knight of Knights Noxus' story, and even becomes a contender for a main character spot later in the story. Her design hasn't changed much from her debut, but I have taken some of the criticism to heart and done a little to fix the proportion of her ankles and CCBS bone pieces. I do love the repeated pattern of small CCBS upper limbs combined with massive, heavily armored lower limbs, and I feel it gives her a ton of character. What would you rate this MOC out of 10? Any questions about the build or the character? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.
Yo, you gonna be measuring that bust size, you know?
That's on recording right now.